My pearl of wisdom is that as a leader, you don't have to know it all. Lean into vulnerability and lead right from where you are. I wanted to start by sharing that my journey into education has been a beautiful twist of fate. It was not my original pathway. In fact, it was never a thought in my mind. However, while doing a year of service in El Salvador, after completing my undergraduate degree, life spoke to me and I just knew. I knew my vocation, my true purpose was to become a teacher. The look on my mom's face when I proudly announced I would not be pursuing law school, rather I was going to become a teacher, was priceless. As I reflect upon my journey as a leader, I can think of several times that I was screaming on the inside, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? I am not ready for this. I'd like to briefly share 3 examples. Case in point 1. My first opportunity to lead in education was the moment I stepped inside a classroom. Those kids were counting on my leadership. I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to do my student teaching abroad. I proudly walked into the 5th grade classroom to meet my supervising teacher, hopeful he would teach me all about best practices and inspire me. Instead, he handed me a dusty 3-ring binder and told me that everything I needed would be inside and that he really needed a smoke break. So good luck. The following months included some failed lessons, lots of tears, but as I leaned in, it opened a space for me to dig deep, be courageous and seek support, ask for feedback, find a community of colleagues that were supportive, and little by little, I started figuring out my style of leading. Case in point 2. After 5 years in the classroom, my journey as a leader took a shift. I founded a company in Nicaragua called Kidspiration. This was primarily a tutoring service company. As I led the tutors to support students with a plethora of learner profiles to fill their learning gaps, there were so many times I just didn't have the answer. Fostering trusting relationships, creating intentional moments for us to come together and collaborate, learn, and have fun as colleagues allowed us for us all to be vulnerable and experience a sense of belonging for a common purpose, the students. After 6 years, the pandemic hit and I found myself at another crossroads. A difficult decision was made to move Kidspiration online, and I decided to return to the classroom. As we recall, those were extremely difficult days. And when the options for positions came through, I knew what my soul needed. I needed to go back to preschool, a place where joy and curiosity led the way. Case in point 3, almost 2 years ago now, during my most recent and fingers crossed last maternity leave, the director general of my school called me in for an in-person meeting. I went in nervously to find out he wanted to highly encourage me to apply to be the assistant principal for the upcoming school year. Instantly in my mind, the message came, how am I going to do this? I am not ready for this. I spoke to a former director that I greatly admire to ask her for her advice. And she said, Brianne, you will never know it all. I know you like to take deep dives and understand all the facets of teaching and learning, but that is not how leadership works. Wow, that was a huge aha moment. As the new school year is upon us, I know that I'm not all the way ready to be the primary lead, but I'm ready to lean in and lead with vulnerability. I am inspired by Dr. Brené Brown's words. What most of us fail to understand is that vulnerability is also the cradle of emotions and experiences that we crave. Vulnerability is the birthplace of love, belonging, joy, courage, empathy, and creativity. My pearl of wisdom is that as a leader, you don't have to know it all. Lean into vulnerability and lead right from where you are. Thank you.